Captain Dae-ho Kim stood at the bridge of the HSS Pioneer, Earth's first interstellar colony ship, his dark eyes fixed on the strange object that had appeared on their scanners. After 18 months of travel toward Alpha Centauri, this was not what anyone had expected to find. "Sir, the object is artificial. It's some kind of space station," reported his first officer, Hae-jin Lee. Her voice was steady, but her hands trembled slightly as she worked at her console. Dae-ho took a deep breath. This moment would change human history forever. "Send the first contact package we prepared. All languages, all frequencies." The crew waited in tense silence. The space station, a gleaming silver structure shaped like a twisted ring, hung against the backdrop of stars. It was beautiful, but it also meant humanity was not alone anymore. Minutes passed. Then the communication panel lit up. "Captain, we're receiving a response." Hae-jin's eyes widened. It's in perfect English." A voice filled the bridge, smooth and artificial sounding. "Human vessel SS Pioneer. This is Galactic Council Observation Post 279. We have been expecting you." The crew exchanged shocked looks. Dae-ho gripped the arms of his captain's chair. "This is Captain Dae-ho Kim. What do you mean you've been expecting us?" "Your species has been under observation for the past 3 centuries, the voice replied. "Your arrival at this checkpoint was predicted based on your technological progression." Dae-ho felt a chill run down his spine. 3 centuries of being watched, and they never knew. "We come in peace," he said. "We seek to establish a colony in the Alpha Centauri system." There was a pause. "Your request will be processed by the Council. Please prepare for docking. A delegation will meet with you." The next few hours were a blur of activity. Dae-ho selected his team carefully. Hae-jin for her diplomatic skills, Dr. Yu Risong for her scientific expertise, and Security Chief Min-ho Park for protection. They wore their best uniforms and tried to look confident. The docking went smoothly, too smoothly, as if the station's systems were made to be compatible with human technology. When the airlock opened, Dae-ho got his first look at alien life. They were tall, slender beings with pale blue skin and large, dark eyes. They wore flowing robes covered in complex patterns that seemed to shift and change. 3 of them waited to greet the human delegation. "Welcome," said the one in front. Its mouth didn't move. The words simply appeared in Dae-ho's mind. "I am Observer Karu. We have studied your species for a long time." "Then you know we come with peaceful intentions," Dae-ho replied. Karu's large eyes blinked slowly. "We know many things about humans. Your emotions run very deep. Your technology is primitive by our standards. Yet you have achieved space travel rather quickly." Min-ho tensed at the word primitive, but Hae-jin stepped forward smoothly. "We are eager to learn and grow as a species." "Yes," Karu said. "Your drive to learn is noteworthy, as is your capacity for violence when threatened." The temperature in the room seemed to drop. Dae-ho chose his next words carefully. "Every species must defend itself to survive. But we prefer peace and cooperation. The Council will evaluate your species' readiness to join the galactic community," Karu said. "For now, you will wait here. Your colony ship will be scanned, and your crew interviewed." As they were led to their quarters, Dae-ho couldn't shake the feeling that they were being treated like children who had wandered into an adults' meeting. The aliens' condescension was subtle but clear. "Captain," Hae-jin whispered as they walked, "did you notice? They're not telling us everything. Why watch us for 300 years without making contact?" "I noticed," Dae-ho replied quietly. "Keep your eyes open and your thoughts careful. Something tells me humanity's first step into the galaxy isn't going to be as simple as we hoped." Back in their assigned room, Dr. Yuri worked on her tablet. Their technology is incredible. The artificial gravity, the telepathic translation. We're centuries behind. "Maybe," said Min-ho, checking the security of their quarters. "But they seem awfully interested in how dangerous we might be." Makes you wonder what they're afraid of. Daho looked out the viewport at his ship, the Pioneer, now docked to this alien station. Humanity had dreamed of this moment for generations. But as he watched the strange beings move around his ship with their scanning devices, he wondered if they were ready for what would come next. The universe was watching humanity, and humanity's next moves would determine their place in it. 3 days after their arrival at the Galactic Council's observation post, Ambassador Jisoo Park stepped into the grand meeting chamber. The room was circular, with tall windows showing the stars outside. Representatives from 12 different alien species sat in rising tiers around her, like judges in a court. Jisoo had arrived on a fast transport from Earth as soon as the Pioneer made contact. She wore a simple black suit and carried herself with quiet confidence. The council members watched her with their various eyes, tentacles, and sensing organs. High Chancellor Su-Bin Lee, the alien leader who had chosen a human name, sat at the highest point. His silver skin reflected the starlight, and his 4 eyes studied Jisoo with clear disdain. Ambassador Park, the High Chancellor, spoke in that same mental voice they all used. You stand before the Galactic Council to petition for Earth's membership. Please state your case. Jisoo bowed slightly. Thank you, High Chancellor. Earth comes before you as a peaceful, advancing civilization. We seek to learn from the greater galactic community and contribute our own unique perspectives and abilities. Unique? One of the council members, a being made of shifting crystals, leaned forward. We have studied your history. War, violence, emotional decisions that lead to destruction. How is this unique? With respect, Jisoo replied, our capacity for violence is matched by our capacity for peace. Our emotions drive us to create art, music, and literature. They push us to explore and innovate. You speak of innovation, another council member said. Its body was like smoke in a glass tube. Yet your technology is centuries behind the galactic standard. What could you possibly contribute? Jisoo noticed Captain Daho and his crew watching from a side gallery. Their faces showed the same controlled anger she felt. The council's dismissive attitude was becoming clear. Perhaps we are behind in some areas, Jisoo admitted. But humans have something special. We adapt quickly. We learn fast. And most importantly, we never give up. High Chancellor Su-Bin made a sound like tinkling glass, their version of laughter. Pretty words, Ambassador. But the Council has already reviewed your case. We have decided that Earth will be classified as a protected developing world. Jisoo's hands tightened at her sides. What does that mean? It means you will be restricted in your expansion. Your technology will be monitored. Your development will be guided by Council observers. This is for your own protection. Of course. The condescension in his mental voice was unmistakable. Jisoo took a deep breath and spoke very carefully. High Chancellor, members of the Council, I must warn you. Humanity will not accept being treated as children. We come seeking friendship and equality. If you choose to dismiss us, to restrict us, to make us angry. She paused, making eye contact with each council member. You will not like the consequences. The chamber erupted in mental chatter. Some council members shifted uncomfortably. Others showed their species' versions of amusement. High Chancellor Su-Bin raised his hand for silence. Is that a threat, Ambassador Park? No, High Chancellor. It is a warning from a friend. Humans work best with others when we are treated as equals. When we are backed into a corner, when we are angered, we become creative in ways you might not expect. The Council does not respond well to threats or warnings, Su-Bin said coldly. Our decision is final. Earth will be protected and guided, whether you like it or not. Jisoo straightened her spine. Then you leave us no choice but to prove ourselves. As she left the chamber, Captain Daho fell into step beside her. They're not going to listen, are they? He asked quietly. No, Jisoo replied. They think they're being kind, protecting us from ourselves. They don't understand that treating humans this way is the most dangerous thing they could do. What happens now? Jisoo looked out at the stars. Now we wait, and we prepare, because sooner or later, they'll realize their mistake. I just hope it doesn't cost too many lives when they do. The warning had been given. The council had dismissed it. And somewhere in the vast bureaucracy of their civilization, the countdown to their greatest mistake had begun. High Chancellor Su-bin Lee stood at his private viewing window in the council tower. The human colony ship Pioneer still hung in space nearby, a constant reminder of the council's newest problem. He touched a control panel, and a holographic display showed him Earth's current status. "Computer," he said, "show me the latest reports on human activities." The computer's soft voice filled the room. Humans have begun constructing their first colony on Proxima, despite council restrictions. They are also increasing their ship production on Earth. Su-bin's silver skin rippled with annoyance. These humans were already causing trouble. He called for an emergency council meeting. An hour later, the council chamber was full. The members looked worried. Su-bin took his place at the high seat and began speaking. "The humans are not following our guidelines," he said. "They build ships and colonies without asking permission. They ignore our wisdom. This cannot continue." The crystal being, Counselor Rux, spoke up. "Perhaps we should show them the consequences of disobedience. A small military demonstration." "No," said the smoke-formed Counselor Toole. "That might make them angry. Remember Ambassador Park's warning." Su-bin made his laughing sound again. "Are you afraid of these primitives? Their most powerful weapons are like children's toys to us. Their angry words are empty threats." He pressed another button, and a new hologram appeared. It showed the human colony on Proxima. Small buildings were spreading across the planet's surface. "Look at how they waste resources," Su-bin said. "They build without proper planning. They expand without proper approval. I propose we take direct control of their development." The council members shifted uncomfortably, but none spoke against him. Su-bin continued, "We will place council observers in all human governments. We will control their space travel. We will guide their development properly." A younger council member raised her hand. "But High Chancellor, what if the humans resist? Then we will show them why we are the council, and they are merely primitives," Su-bin said coldly. "Prepare the observation teams, and send a message to Earth's governments." Later that day, Ambassador Jisoo Park received the council's message in her temporary office. Her face grew darker as she read it. Captain Daeho and Hae-jin waited nervously for her to speak. "They're going to control everything," Jisoo said finally. "Our governments, our space program, our colonies, everything." "Can they do that?" Hae-jin asked. "They have the power," Daeho said. "Their technology is far beyond ours." Jisoo stood up and walked to her own window. The stars looked colder now. "They think they're being wise and careful. They think they're protecting us from ourselves. But they're making a terrible mistake." "What do we do?" Hae-jin asked. "We warned them one last time," Jisoo said. "Then we prepare. Captain, send a message to Earth. Tell them to start the backup plan." "You mean Project Phoenix?" Daeho looked surprised. "But that's only for emergencies." "This is an emergency," Jisoo said firmly. "The council thinks they can control us like children. They dismiss our warnings as empty threats. Soon, they'll learn why that was a mistake." As Jisoo spoke, council ships were already moving toward Earth. They carried observers and controllers, beings who thought they were bringing order to a primitive species. None of them understood what was coming. High Chancellor Su-bin watched from his window as the ships departed. He felt satisfied. Soon, the human problem would be properly managed. Their emotional outbursts would be controlled. Their development would follow proper council guidelines. He was so sure of his power, so confident in council's superiority, that he never stopped to wonder why humans had given their warning with such certainty. He would learn, but by then, it would be too late. Governor Hansol Cho stood in the control room of Proxima Colony, watching the council ships appear in orbit. 5 large vessels, their hulls gleaming with strange metals, positioned themselves around the colony. His display screen lit up with a message from their commander. Proxima Colony. Dr. Yuna Kang walked into the emergency meeting of Earth's Defense Council with a thick folder in her hands. The room was silent as she took her place at the podium. On the large screen behind her, images of the destroyed Proxima Colony played in a loop. 3,000 dead, she began. Half our colony destroyed. The Council thinks they taught us a lesson. Instead, they gave us a reason to show them what humans can really do. She opened her folder and pressed a button. The screen changed to show technical diagrams. For 30 years, my team at the Defense Research Division has been studying alien technology. Every time they flew past our planet, every piece of debris we found, every signal we intercepted, we learned from it all. The room was completely quiet now. Even the military generals leaned forward to listen. They think we're primitive, Yuna continued. They think our technology is centuries behind theirs. They're wrong. We've not only understood their technology, we've improved it. She showed the next image. It was a new kind of spaceship, shaped like an arrow. This is the Vengeance-class destroyer. While the Council was watching us build simple colony ships, we were secretly building these. Their hulls are made of materials the Council doesn't even know about. Their weapons use principles the aliens haven't discovered. Admiral Tai Seok Choi raised his hand. How many ships do we have? 50, Yuna replied. Hidden in underground bases across Earth, ready to launch at any time. The room erupted in surprised whispers. No one had known about this secret fleet. But that's not all, Yuna said. She showed another image. We've also developed a new kind of shield technology, something the Council has never seen before. We call it the mirror shield. She played a video showing a test of the shield. Energy weapons hit it and bounced back at the shooter. The Council believes that controlling their emotions makes them superior, Yuna said. But human anger, human determination, these things drove us to innovate in ways they never imagined. Ambassador Jisoo Park stood up. The Council must be made to understand their mistake. But we shouldn't start a war we can't win. They started this war, Yuna replied firmly. We'll finish it, not with blind rage, but with careful planning and technology they don't expect. She showed the final image, a map of Council space. We've identified their key military bases, their patrol routes, their weak points. While they were busy looking down on us, we were studying them, learning everything about them. The Defense Council voted unanimously to authorize the use of the secret fleet. Within hours, ships began launching from hidden bases around the world. Each one carried crews who had trained for years in secret, preparing for this moment. On the main command ship, renamed Remember Proxima, Yuna stood with Admiral Tai Seok. They watched Earth grow smaller behind them. The Council thought they were teaching us a lesson, Yuna said quietly. Instead, they're about to learn one. Never make humans angry. Never harm our people. And never, ever underestimate what we can do when we're pushed too far. The fleet moved into formation, their new engines glowing with power the Council had never seen. Humanity's response was beginning, and the galaxy was about to learn why that warning should have been taken seriously. Commander Min-Ki Park stood on the bridge of his ship, the HSS Vengeance, as it approached the Council's main defense station. The massive structure floated in space like a steel mountain. Its weapons could destroy entire fleets. No one had ever successfully attacked it before. Status report, Min-Ki ordered. Council ships are forming a defensive line, his tactical officer reported. Their weapons are powering up. They're following standard Council battle protocol, exactly as our data predicted. Min-Ki smiled slightly. This was why humans would win. The Council forces always followed the same rules, the same patterns. They never adapted. They never changed. Launch the decoy drones, Min-Ki commanded. Small ships shot out from the Vengeance, each one looking like a full-sized warship on Council sensors. The Council fleet split up exactly as expected, trying to counter this apparent attack from multiple directions. "Sir," his communication officer called out, "the Council commander is demanding our surrender." "Send no response," Min-Ki said. "Let them think their communication systems are failing. Prepare for Phase 2. The Council ships moved to surround the drone ships, following their standard tactical manual perfectly. That's when Min-Ki gave his next order. "Activate the mirror shields. Launch the gravity bombs." Small black spheres shot out from the Vengeance. The Council ignored them. Their scans showed they had no explosive power. This was their second mistake. When the spheres activated, they created powerful gravity fields that pulled the Council ships out of formation. "They're struggling to maintain position," the tactical officer reported with excitement. "Their ships aren't designed to handle changing gravity fields." Now came the clever part. As the Council ships fired their weapons at the human fleet, the mirror shields caught their energy beams and sent them back. The Council ships were hit by their own weapons. "Sir, Council reinforcements are arriving," someone reported. "Right on schedule," Min-Ki said calmly. "Begin Phase 3. The Vengeance's special weapon powered up. Dr. Kang had called it the Logic Bomb, a device that attacked computer systems by introducing random elements that the Council's perfectly logical computers couldn't handle. The effect was immediate. Council ships began losing power. Their perfect formations fell apart. Their weapons stopped working. Their computers, designed to follow strict logical patterns, couldn't handle the human-designed chaos. "Commander," his first officer said quietly, "the Council defense station is sending out a distress signal." Min-Ki watched as the mighty Council fleet drifted in space, their ships dark and powerless. Humanity's first major battle against the Council had lasted less than an hour. "Send a message to Earth Command," he ordered. "Tell them Phase 1 is complete. The Council's main defense station is ours." As his crew secured their victory, Min-Ki thought about how the Council had dismissed humans as primitive and emotional. They never understood that human emotions led to creativity. Human anger led to innovation. Human determination led to victory. "Sir," his communication officer called out, "we're receiving surrenders from the Council ships." "Accept them," Min-Ki ordered. "Treat their crews well. They need to understand that humans can be merciful as well as powerful." The battle was over, but the war was just beginning. Soon, the entire galaxy would learn what the Council had failed to understand. Humans were not just another primitive species to be controlled. They were a force that could change the very rules of warfare. Dr. Taiwan Choi's laboratory on the captured Council defense station was filled with advanced scanning equipment. He stood before a group of Council scientists who had surrendered during the battle. Their large eyes watched as he showed them his research findings. "For centuries, you believed that human emotions were a weakness," Taiwan began. "You thought our anger made us unstable and dangerous. Today, I will show you why you were wrong." He displayed 2 brain scans on the large screen. One showed an alien brain during problem solving. The other showed a human brain. "When your species faces a challenge," he explained, "your brains follow strict logical patterns. Everything must make sense. Everything must follow rules. But look what happens when the problem becomes harder." He showed new scans. The alien brain patterns became slower, more rigid, but the human brain lit up with activity in new areas. "This is the key difference," Taiwan said. "When we get angry, when we face big problems, our brains don't shut down. They open up. We think in new ways. We find solutions nobody has tried before." One of the Council scientists raised a hand. "But anger clouds judgment. This is proven fact." "For your species, yes," Taiwan replied. "But human anger is different. We can channel it, direct it, use it to drive us forward." He showed them more data. "During the battle for this station, we monitored our soldiers' brain patterns. When they got angry about the Proxima colony attack, their problem-solving abilities increased by 40%. Their reaction times improved. Their creativity peaked. The council scientists whispered among themselves. This went against everything they believed about emotional species. Your mistake, Taiwan continued, was thinking that emotions and intelligence are opposites. For humans, they work together. Our emotions drive us to find new solutions. Our anger pushes us to overcome impossible odds. He showed them the designs for the mirror shield and the logic bomb. These weren't invented by calm, logical thinking. They were created by humans who were angry about being treated as inferiors, who were determined to prove you wrong. A younger council scientist stepped forward. This changes everything we thought we knew about brain development, about evolution itself. Yes, Taiwan agreed, and it raises an important question. How many other emotional species have you dismissed? How many potential allies have you lost because you didn't understand that different minds can work in different ways? The council scientists looked uncomfortable. Their whole civilization was built on the idea that pure logic was the highest form of intelligence. We're not asking you to become like us, Taiwan said kindly. We're asking you to understand that there's more than one path to advancement. Emotion and logic can work together. Different species can learn from each other. As the council scientists studied his data, messages were already spreading through council space. The news that humans had captured their strongest defense station was shocking enough. But the revelation that human emotions were a source of strength, not weakness, would change galactic society forever. In his lab, Taiwan looked at the stars through the station's window. The council had watched humans for centuries, thinking they understood what they saw. But they had missed the most important thing, that human anger, properly channeled, could drive the greatest advances the galaxy had ever seen. 1 year after the battle at the Council Defense Station, Ambassador Jisoo Park stood in the newly rebuilt council chamber. The room looked different now. Instead of rising tiers that placed some species above others, all seats were arranged in a circle. Everyone sat as equals. Jisoo looked at the faces around her. Some were familiar, the crystal beings, the smoke forms, and others she had met before. But there were new faces too. Species that the old council had dismissed as too emotional or primitive now had their own seats. High Chancellor Su Bin-Lee was gone. In his place sat Barry Kim, another of his species, but one who understood the importance of working together with different kinds of minds. The first year of the new council has taught us much, Barry said, his mental voice gentle and respectful. We have learned that there is strength in diversity, that emotion and logic can work together, that no species has all the answers. Jisoo stepped forward to speak. 1 year ago, humans were considered primitives. We were told we needed protection and control. Today, our technology is helping rebuild damaged worlds. Our understanding of emotions is helping species work better together. She touched a control panel, showing images of the rebuilt Proxima colony. We have not forgotten those we lost, but their sacrifice led to important changes. The galaxy is becoming a better place. Around the room, representatives nodded in agreement. The crystal being who had once dismissed humans now spoke up. The humans have taught us that anger, properly used, can lead to positive change. Their mirror shield technology is now protecting peaceful worlds. Their emotional understanding is helping us solve problems we never could before. Jisoo smiled as she remembered the old council's warning about humanity being too emotional. We still feel deeply, she said. We still get angry when we see injustice. But now the galaxy understands that this is not a weakness. It is a different kind of strength. She showed them new images, human scientists working with council species, sharing ideas and solving problems together. Ships of different species working together to explore unknown space. Children of various species playing and learning together in new schools. The old council thought order meant everyone thinking the same way. Jisoo continued. The new council knows that real progress comes from different minds working together, from understanding that there are many paths to wisdom. Very stood up. Let this be recorded in our history. The day we dismissed human emotions as primitive was the day we proved our own primitive understanding. The day they proved us wrong was the day we truly began to advance. As the meeting ended, Jisoo walked to the window and looked at the stars. The galaxy was changing. Species that had been ignored for centuries were sharing their unique gifts. New technologies were being created by minds working together in ways the old council never imagined. Humanity had warned them not to make humans angry. The council had learned this lesson the hard way. But from that mistake came a better future, one where emotion and logic, strength and wisdom, difference and unity all worked together to create something greater than any one species could achieve alone. The stars seemed brighter now, full of new possibilities. And somewhere out there, new species were waiting to be discovered. This time, the galaxy would be ready to learn from them all.